flame.
Kia ora, and welcome to an overview of the Papakainga Maori Housing Toolkit. The toolkit has been at the heart of a number of outstanding Papakainga developments across the Western Bay of Plenty. Over the next few minutes, we'll take you through the guide, including the key steps within it, and look at some of the many positive outcomes it has delivered. So here's our story.
They are willing to fight the fight, to fight the fight. And my people may not be
Papakainga, Te Kete Paraha Mona Papakainga is a project that was initiated through Smart Growth. It came out from the combined Tangata Whenua Forum in response to the housing aspirations of Tangata Whenua from Otawhiwhi through to Otamarako and Tauranga through to Te Puke. Māori people raised that there were a lot of substandard housing around in the region. They had a lot of land that was vacant and could be used for housing. So the opportunity to align or get some strategic and alignment with the three councils, Tauranga City, Western Bay District and Bay of Plenty Regional Council, was the opportunity that came through Smart Growth, was really to coordinate resources, in particular the planning and infrastructure through council, and with the other joint agency parties, Te Puni Kōkiri, Māori Land Court, Housing Corporation New Zealand, was to bring those resources together to address the issues of affordable housing and the ability to utilise multi-land Māori land to achieve those housing outcomes. So the Tangata Whenua actions in the Smart Growth strategy are anchored around Māori land development and in particular housing. So those actions are around working with Māori land trusts, ensuring that we're looking to develop land based on a concept plan that they have developed to meet their future aspirations for housing. So we're not talking about building one or two homes, we're about providing the opportunity to develop a plan to utilise either the full extent of the block or a significant portion to build more than one home on their blocks. The toolkit in itself is based on providing 5 steps. Those 5 steps are grounded on the concept of having a kaupapa, a vision that defines what the aspirations are of the collective trust, of all the owners, led by the trustees or a project management team, around addressing the natural features of the block, addressing the access to services, and access to in the relationship with their neighbours. So once we've got the vision, the general information around the Māori Land Court and the council, the next stage or the next step in terms of step 3 is the whiriwhiri, is the discussion and kōrero that you have with the beneficial owners, sharing that information, refining the direction and moving forward, and you might do that several times. So it is a long process to get through to come up with the final vision, the appointment of your governance entity, appropriate powers through your trust deed, appointed through the court, and then once you've got those in place, you're able to move forward with a project team coordinating the direction for housing, and then we get into the step 4, which is the technical issues. So the technical issues are picking up on the contours, the topography of the land, the location of the internal roading, how are you going to access wastewater, or not access, but I suppose access and manage water reticulation, wastewater, stormwater, and then access from your particular block to the main road, and all the other technical issues that come with it, whether you're by the harbour, by a stream, whether the land in itself is flat or there are swamp issues, whether it's cliffs and all those types of issues are addressed at the technical stage. So engineering reports, geotechnical reports could be required, and every situation is going to be different. We do say to people that every block of land is unique and will come with its own issues and solutions. The final step is the issue around, once we've got a concept plan, is actually funding that plan. So once we've determined and settled on the size and scale and the timing around the block, so if you've got, say, the rules provide for up to 10 as controlled activities, restricted discretionary up to 30 house sites, you may have a development of that site and several are looking to build 30 or more. Is that those may be done in stages, and you need to think about and encourage the discussion around how you fund those infrastructure up first, and then fund the stages to achieve the development over the next 30 to 50 years.
So that's a little bit about those key steps and guiding principles in the toolkit. I'd now like to introduce Victoria Kingi of Papakainga Solutions Limited to share her thoughts about one of the first Papakainga developments in the Western Bay. Kia ora, Victoria. Can you tell us a little bit about this development and what makes it unique?
Kia ora, Peter. The Horaparakete Papakainga is one of the first Papakainga that in recent times has been built in the Western Bay of Plenty. It's an ahu whenua trust, and collectively have built 6 houses. 5 of them are family homes, and one is a whare tāpiri, which we've called Horaparakete, after our kuia tupuna.
Organising and managing funding is a critical step in the development process. Can you tell us about the important components of the funding process and some of the issues and opportunities that presented themselves with this development?
The Horaparakete Papakainga is a bit different from the more recent Papakainga we've been seeing come through. It's the only one so far that has used a product called the Low Deposit Rural Lending product, which is now the new Kāinga Whenua lending product. So the 5 families that moved into their homes actually own their homes, and the shared whare tāpiri is collectively owned by the trust for the benefit of all of the shareholders. And that particular whare was fundraised for, we fundraised for about 7 years for the big house, but we built all 6 at the same time.
Looking at future Papakainga development, do you think it will be along the lines of home ownership or rental?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is a lot of influence from the funder or the criteria that comes along with the funding that's made available for Papakainga, which influences the tenure. So ideally the mix, it's ideal to have a mixed tenure. So you have affordable rentals and you staircase right through to affordable home ownership. And so different projects have different tenure. The majority of them of recent times have been rental properties, so affordable rentals that are owned by the trust. But otherwise you can have a mixture of home ownership and rental. It's really just how you put together those particular proposals.
From your perspective, what's the key thing people wanting to embark on the Papakainga journey should do in terms of getting themselves and their whānau ready to take things forward?
Key things to do to get ready, I think, would include, well, for whānau in the Western Bay of Plenty, we're really lucky because we've got the Papakainga workshops. We have Te Kete Paraha, which is the Papakainga Toolkit, and the workshops we've been running annually to support our land trust basically through the planning side of their Papakainga projects. It steps you through the various stages in a supported way, so I'd encourage all of our whānau to attend those workshops, and they are usually run every year, and hopefully we'll be doing the same in coming years. But also to work collectively with other groups that have already been through this journey.
Now, you talked about some of the challenges and interesting approaches to fundraising you did for this development. Do you have any tips for those about to embark on the Papakainga journey?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in our people really stepping out and taking charge really of their own financial destiny, and I think that there's nothing stopping a group from fundraising tomorrow if they wanted to. It's worked for us. we work to our strengths. Our strengths were really in the area of catering, and so we held a lot of fundraisers, stalls at different festivals, and over a period of time we were able to save well over 1/3 of the cost of our big whare tāpiri. And I just think it's a nice reminder for whānau to start looking at what it is they can do themselves, that tino rangatiratanga that comes through that sort of approach, and we don't always have to be looking out there for the answers, especially in a financial, within a financial context. We're quite capable of fundraising, we're quite capable of building our own, say, if you've got talents, use those talents. So some whānau are really good at rāranga kete, you know, use your taonga and run raffles, do all sorts of, you're just limited by your imagination really.
So, that's our Papakainga Toolkit story in a nutshell. We trust it provides some useful background and inspiration to those wanting to progress Papakainga using the toolkit approach. As with any initiative of this scale, it could not have happened without the wisdom, input and cooperation of many organisations, groups and individuals. We'd like to particularly acknowledge the support of these partners in developing the toolkit. It's also important to acknowledge the many other people who have helped realise the potential of the toolkit. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone involved, from iwi trustees and marae committees to the project managers, builders and landscapers who have turned concepts into reality. You can certainly be proud of your achievements. If you'd like more information on the toolkit and Papakainga, please contact Victoria Kingi at PSL, Papakainga Solutions Limited. You can also send an email to Victoria at this address, or visit PSL on the web at this address.